Whereas, like, when I talk about like Chicago street gang
that's
killings,
where they'll get caught.
Every person gets killed in the same way, pretty much.
With choppers and the cameras.
They run up, they shoot them, or they drive by and they shoot them.
If you go back to like the 20s,
but there's no technology.
Right. No, but what I'm saying is if you go back to the 20s, the way everything was back then, before organized crime got organized, they were killing everybody the same way back then.
Right.
Drive-by shootings.
Right. They stopped
over alcohol, prohibition and all that. It wasn't drugs, but they were still doing the same, exact things.
The Al Capone
but
era.
they evolved.
Stopped all that.
They evolved, but these guys ain't going to have the chance to evolve. The reason the mafia became what it was, like you said, the technology, it didn't exist. So they didn't have time to, they had like a 100-year run before these technology came out where they can listen to everything.
That's right.
And focus and, have, the phones. Now, the phones never existed till the late 90s, and the smartphones didn't exist. One of the guys in our family, Buster Ardito, he was the first guy ever where you could have your cell phone shut off and they could turn it on and listen to all your conversations.
Really?
He was the first guy ever that they did that to. I don't know if it was the first mob guy, but he was the first guy that it came out in a federal court that he was leaving it because he used to bring his phones and just for addresses, and he would leave it there, and then he would shut it off, and then he would talk business at wherever the cafe or the restaurant and everything, and they had the whole thing wired up, so they didn't have that all back then. So the gangs today, they're killing everybody, shooting everybody. They're getting all the way around. They're getting the RICOs, so they're getting those 40, 50-year sentences. They got the technology on them, which the mob didn't have back in the day. So they're not going to have that start, whereas the mob did. So they ain't going to go nowhere at the end. If they get too big, they're going to get 100 years in prison, right? And so they don't have that, they don't have what the mob had as that head start to create that, because the mob doesn't have that no more.
Right.
The mob isn't the mob no more like it was, because of this technology, the RICO laws.
Because that's one thing that I've heard a few different people who come from like a street gang background is basically like the idea of dudes having 8, 10 plus bodies is mostly like a fantasy these days, because there's so many different ways to catch somebody, and more importantly, there's just so many people willing to talk.
You're killing for a reason with organized crime. We're not gonna just go, it's for a reason. You broke a rule. You did something. You have to die. Sometimes you might do something, throw them a beating. We're not gonna just go and kill you over nothing. You know what I'm saying? The gangs do that. You know what I mean? Literally drive by, they're doing, ridiculous things. I just came out of MDC Brooklyn. I'm with all the gangs. They're getting a shitload of time now. With the federal, you understand, you don't have to hit the person. You can just shoot at them and get 20 years.
Right.
You're doing it for the organization to up your position. They'll can roof you. So their laws are so different than the state. You understand? So when you go federal with these RICO cases, get caught with a gun, protecting the drugs, 15 years, you know what I mean? It's insane. So they're crushing the gangs right now. They're getting crushed by RICO.
Wow.
Crushed. So, I was with Casanova. He got 15 years.
Right.
15 years for a leg shot.
But to be fair, okay.
For a leg shot. I did that. I got 3 to 6 in the state.
He was doing some shit that I'm assuming that very few mafia dudes would ever do, which is that when they went into his phone and they had full access to his Instagram DMs, he was basically like telling dudes where to go stand to sell drugs and shit, right?
MDC has 2,000 cell phones, and they just did a raid. There was 2,000 cell phones in the jail.
Right.
They were getting hits from the 4th floor to the 5th floor. They were sending messages to stab somebody.
Right.
That's how up it is right now.
Yeah.
They're getting RICO charges off cell phones right now.
But I'm talking about when Casanova was on the outside.
Yes.
That stood out to me when I heard about that. It's like, you've already been in, you've already done all this time. How could you have not learned your lesson about using Instagram? Like, there's all kinds of like encrypted apps that would at least give you a fighting chance of not getting caught. Doing it on Instagram's crazy.
I was with Fetty Wap too.
Right.
He got 6 years for a phone call.
Right.
He didn't do nothing. That's like you asking for money. Say, yo, I need help. Okay, I give you 20,000. He bought fentanyl with it. You're in the conspiracy now.
Really?
He don't do nothing.
Yeah.
A poor guy's with him every day. Got 6 years for nothing. Giving his friend money.
But so there wasn't any reason for them to believe that he knew what was going to happen?
He was a gang member, so they tied him in. So basically, he's a blood. You come to me, say, I need 20 grand. I give you 20 grand. You go buy drugs with it. You're going to fucking jail for conspiracy now for funding the fucking drugs.
Right.
Fucking dude's a great guy.
Because that's one of the main things that these rappers will like. It's the easiest thing in the world for them to just proclaim what hood they're from, what set they're from. And to me, that seems like the step one on like a lot of these charges. Is as soon as you can prove that somebody's in a gang, that's like step one of everything that they need to take you down.
Like the other kid, K Flock. I'm sure you heard of K Flock.
Yeah.
He was in the box with me down in the hole when I was in the hole.
Really?
He shot somebody on Instagram Live.
Yes.
What the fuck?
Well, not on Instagram Live, but it was like captured on security cameras and shit, right?
It was on a fucking live shoot. He was shooting a gun on live. Listen to me. He said he's done. There's no ifs, buts about it. The kid was about to blow up everything. He was in the same block as me when I was in the hole. He was screaming on the gate, I'm taking 30. They're not giving him 30 years. They're going to fucking give him life when he goes to trial. You know what I mean? Yes, the kid has double murders, multiple shootings.
And he was like the hottest rapper coming out of the Bronx drill scene.
You know, the kid's crazy, though.
Yeah.
He's legit nuts.
He's got to be.
Oh, he's fucking nuts. He's beef with the whole building. They couldn't even keep him there.
Really?
They couldn't even keep him in the building and move him to Jersey. He's fighting with everybody.
What the fuck?
Yes.
Yeah, because I mean, there's been quite a few people in recent memory who've like basically killed someone while wearing extremely distinctive pants and shoes, which is kind of mind-blowing again, because you would expect that if you wanted to do something like that, you'd probably try to find the most standard plain black slacks or the black hoodie, whatever. I mean, something simple that would be difficult to
wearing
track
red
down.
Dior is killing someone.
Yeah, no, they're wearing like $1,500 Amiri jeans with all kinds of intricate patches on it. They got unreleased Jordans on, like in the K-Flock situation specifically. It's insane.
It's
like,
crazy. I know.
I mean, these kids, they seem like they just come up in a culture in which killing people is so glamorized, and then self-preservation and like taking the steps to not get caught is almost never emphasized.
They want to get caught.
A lot of times, they want to get. People want that recognition.
They want the recognition. They want it.
They want that. They were part of a murder, and they, but until they get older, and then they're going to be wishing that they, depending on how much time they got, But when they get older, they realize it. When they're 20 years old, they want that recognition of, oh, I got 3 bodies, or I shot this guy, multiple times. And
it's like, even when I was a young hothead, still in my head, the idea of like, oh, if I get caught doing this, I'm going to go to jail for a couple years was always there in my head. So
it wasn't in mine.
When it comes to killing, it's just like, oh, like, of course, in my head, if I were to do that, that equals out to like, I'm probably going to do 20 plus years. And so to me, it's just so easy to do the math and be like, okay, that's not worth it. You don't even get into a position where you're going to have to even think about doing something like that.
The murder changes everything. It's like you said, a couple of years, who cares, right? You go in there, if you're making money, and again, Mafia, we make money. We're making, we make $5 million. Say you made 10 million, you got 8 put away, you're still making $1 million a year. The feds catch you, you got to go to jail for 3 years. We'll take that all day long.
Right.
What changes everything is when you drop a body. And
that's when they come down on you.
That's when, like, you're sleeping at night, when you go to sleep at night, you put your head on the pillow, everything is good. You're making money, worst come to worst, you get arrested, you go to jail for a couple of years, 2 years, 3 years. You got so much money that your businesses are still supporting your family. Your family's not, wanting for anything. You're coming home. There's no bodies where you're going to have that law enforcement on you where they're never going to stop. Once they know you got a body, they never stop. They'll try to keep hitting you with the 2s and the 3s until they can get you with that the life sentence with the body case. So so the difference is, once you drop a body, you go to sleep after that, not the same anymore, because now what you just said is, now I can go to jail, but it ain't going to be for 2 years. It's the rest of my life. Today I'm going to wake up today and I'm never going to see my kids. You dropped a body. Is my life over the next time I get arrested? It ain't going to be a 3-year sentence.